Okay, now we'll go over some hypothetical scenarios regarding assessing the risk of different audit clients. So here we have Fernandez Wholesalers sells energy drinks to various distributors. As they have expanded sales to additional customers, there have been some increase in the age of the accounts receivable, which could require an increase in the allowance for doubtful accounts. So it sounds like they've got again some different sales that they're selling to, and their maybe demand for their product is going up. So as we look down at the required stuff below, it says describe what is meant by significant risk and how is that different than inherent risk or business risk. So significant risk is an inherent risk that requires special audit considerations. So if it's a significant risk, they're going to have to impact how they're planning for that audit and the audit process itself. If it's just an inherent risk, that is just kind of unique to the account that you're talking about. So the susceptibility to having material misstatements. So again, is it cash? Is it accounts receivable? Is it inventory? So there can be some inherent risks based on those class of transactions. Doesn't mean that it's necessarily significant. They just exist. Then business risk is the chance that the client will not meet their business objectives. So they're not going to be successful for one reason or another. Okay, then the next thing it says, what they want us to do is to go through these scenarios and identify, is it a significant risk? And then if it is a significant risk, what might they do to give it special audit consideration? So again, we go back to this one where they're expanding their sales to new customers, and because of that, they have a larger accounts receivable, and they're going to also increase their allowance for doubtful accounts. So that sounds pretty normal. Do you know what I mean? That happens to businesses as they expand. They have to deal with that expansion and figure out, their credit. Are they definitely selling to all customers that are credit? Look at their credit standards, who they're issuing credit to. And then again, takes time to kind of analyze those doubtful accounts. So that is not a significant risk. It would just be an inherent risk, a regular risk that happens when a business increases and they're now selling to new customers. I mean, that's something that they're just going to have to kind of deal with. So not a significant risk. All right, then number 2, we have Sanson Construction builds light commercial real estate properties. This year, they started a new project that is 3 times larger than their previous projects completed by the company and is the first one that will take more than a year to complete. The company has limited experience with the percentage of completion contract accounting, and the project is running significantly behind schedule. So this one is significant. So there's a few keywords in there. The company has limited experience. That's definitely going to raise a red flag for the auditors. And they're running significantly behind schedule. So it's like they're getting into something that they are possibly not prepared to do. So that is going to be significant. And then what could they do? What can the auditors do? They're probably going to want to get some different, possibly some different audit staffs who are real comfortable with how we do this percentage of completion contract accounting, because that's a different methodology. So the crew who was on the audit last year that was just looking at these small jobs might not be the same staff you should have this year. So you may want to get some people who have experience with these larger contracts that go over several years, so that they can really kind of delve into those details, and it would probably also increase what they want to test. Okay, then our next one, number 3, Horton Sports produces high-end sporting gears. Sales and receivables have significantly increased in the fourth quarter over the previous year, and the company has pressured customers in the past to purchase more product than they need, resulting in significant returns. So that also sounds questionable. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like not legit sales. So they're running a certain level all year, then all of a sudden fourth quarter, boom, the sales jump up. And then when they delve a little deeper, they see that in the past they have pressured those customers to purchase product in the fourth quarter just to bump their sales up. Then possibly they allow the customers to easily return those in the first quarter. So that would raise a red flag. So that is going to be significant. And how they would deal with that is they should look, they'll be on site during that first quarter of the next year. So they should start looking at what returns come back in, and see if that raises a red flag. Is it really a high amount of returns that come in? And maybe do some better confirmations of those receivables at year end just to make sure that they're not overinflating any of those. So that would impact what they're going to test and what level they're going to test it. Okay, then number 4, we have All Set Motors is a startup company focused on self-driving vehicles. Their technology has shown significant promise in selected test markets, but there are several competitors also in the market, including major automotive manufacturers and technology firms. So that really isn't, there's nothing red flagged about that. Like, you don't think that, they're not lacking integrity. We don't know anything about that. Their business isn't going to do great at that. It's just saying, hey, there's a lot of competitors in that market. And again, the major manufacturers are probably going to have a step up on them. So that is not significant. It's just kind of a general business risk. So nothing real red flagged there. Then number 5, we have Orion Computer has a significant amount of goodwill on its balance sheet, resulting from its acquisition of another enterprise software company the prior year. The company has seen significant decline in sales and its stock price due to increased cloud computing. So then this is one that again is going to be questionable because it's kind of a unique scenario. They have a large amount of goodwill that they just put on their books a prior year, which is a long-term asset. And every year goodwill needs to be tested to see if it's impaired. So the auditors are going to do that anyhow. But this may raise a red flag because now all of a sudden they've got this large intangible asset on their books that really probably does not have future service potential for them. So that would be significant. And they probably would need to bring in some people who are going to do some due diligence on that company and that level of goodwill to really determine if it is impaired or not. So some sort of specialist that would know that particular industry. Whoops, sorry. Sorry. I don't know what buttons I'm pushing. Okay. Better than just your average staff accountants. Okay, then our last one, number 6, we have Lumini manufactures yoga pants and other activewear. Due to changes in consumer tastes, it has experienced a significant buildup of inventory of 2 of its products that may require a write-down. So again, anytime inventory builds up and we have an asset that maybe isn't accurately stated, that's probably going to raise a red flag and be significant. Again, assuming it's their major level of inventory, it's not just one area, but it's one of the major things that they sell is now trending downward, and they have too much product. So then, what they could do again is do a little better testing of the inventory itself, and then go into the next year to see, well, did they sell it? Because yoga pants, I guess, could last for a while, but if you're doing the audit 3 months later, you can go up to that audit date and look at subsequent events and say, okay, well, so at the end of the year, you had this buildup of inventory. Is it still build up? Did you sell it off? Did you have to mark it down? So they can do some subsequent testing just to see what really happened with those sales. Okay, so that kind of gives you some ideas of just as you read through things to say, well, does that raise a red flag? If it raises a red flag, it's going to be a significant risk. If it just kind of seems like a general business risk or a general risk of that particular account that's being audited, then it isn't significant. But then you can see kind of how sometimes that will change the audit process itself.